guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called Top 10 Canadian Musicians. So I do not know which musicians are Canadian, so I'm excited. I think probably there's going to be some surprises. But let's check it out and comment, like, and subscribe.
Chill out, what she yelling for? Lay back, it's all.
Is that a French lesson?
In
Is she
addition
from
to exporting
Quebec?
crude oil and maple syrup, the second biggest country in the world has done its fair share of exporting some fantastic
Is it the second largest country? I probably should know this, but still it's oh wow.
musical talent. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Canadian musical artists.
And I've been keeping all the letters that I wrote to you.
For this list, we're taking a look at the best loved and most admired musical artists from Canada, based on influence, global success, and iconic status to Canadians.
Yeah, iconic status, to Canadians, but also worldwide, right? Because I think that's what you're really oh, they broke out. They broke out because they're known globally and not just in Canada.
I was your boyfriend, never let you go.
We will not, however, be basing the list on commercial success, so the much loved Nickelback and Justin Bieber will not be appearing on this list.
Okay, I like it. Not always commercial success means that people are sort of iconic or renowned, or just people are just really like them. So it's good. It's just sort of I don't know, this is based on vibes probably.
Number 10. Arcade Fire.
I like the little set of piano, a keyboard.
In 2001, schoolmates Win Butler and Josh Due decided to form a band in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And 3 years later, they came to the world's attention with their commercially and critically successful debut album, Funeral.
Oh my god, where were they?
Their combination of indie rock, pop, and dance was a winning combination for most, and their
That sounds really
2010
interesting.
album, The Suburbs, only heightened their fame, winning a Juno, Brit, and Grammy Award.
What did you know? I like it. It's very chill.
With band members skilled in instruments ranging from guitars to accordions to mandolins, and
Yeah.
live shows that will never fail to blow your socks off.
It sounds it's always the alternative. It sounds a little bit like pop rock. Well, not really pop. It's just sort of rock, but with an alternative vibe, which and I'm sensing some sort of I don't know, weird influences, some Baroque influences or something.
It's no wonder why this Canadian indie rock band became a worldwide phenomenon.
They're probably really good live. Yeah, I can tell. It's a show. Okay, super chill.
Number
All
9.
chill songs.
The Tragically Hip.
First thing we climb a tree, and maybe then we talk.
Is this one
Established
guy?
in the early 1980s in Kingston, Ontario, this band went from landing tiny gigs to getting discovered by the major American media company, MCA.
Okay. I like it. This is the best success story. You're just somebody said, you know what, you have talent and I'm gonna invest in you, and they're here now. It seems great. This is very
They were
90s.
spouting out albums and singles, many of which became go-to hits for rock stations throughout the country.
I
The
can tell
band
why.
has seen some success outside of Canada as well,
Mm.
performing on SNL in 1995, performing for Queen Elizabeth in 2002, and
Oh.
even opening up for rock legends The Who on several US dates.
We'd love to know the history. Why were they performing for the Queen? In what occasion? He has a very interesting voice.
However, they
distinct.
are known as legends in their own right in Canada, with
Oh.
14 Juno Awards and 9 #1 albums.
How many albums do they have? Oh, this is classic rock.
Number 8. The Band.
Oh, I love it. The band. Love the name.
know where I wanna go.
You know you're
Interesting that the drummer is a singer. I think that's rarely seen. I don't think it's that common. Obviously it happens, but I think it's more common for like the rhythm guitarist or maybe like just a guitarist to actually be the singer, sometimes the bassist. But the drummer that's also like the singer, that's kind of like interesting, because usually they just like they do like I don't know, like the melody or something, or just like the harmonies, but they rarely do solos.
Good when Bob Dylan is wanting to work with you. Initially calling themselves Levon and the Hawks, and later the Canadian Squires, this group out of Toronto rose to stardom with their roots rock sound and were later immortalized after being filmed by Martin Scorsese in the legendary rockumentary The Last Waltz.
This is actually incredibly funny. The Canadian Squires, the band is a better name.
Their
Ooh,
contribution to music has
solo.
been recognized by Rolling Stone magazine, the Canadian Music Hall of Fame, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And their debut
Okay, so they're like super famous, super like influential. Okay, get it.
single, The Wait, has been called one of the greatest songs of all time.
Oh wow. I like this. This is great.
Number
Okay,
7,
Whiplash.
Shania Twain.
Very different. I love the little like choreography.
While singers like Katie Lang pioneered Canadian country,
Is that a thing?
it's Twain that brought the
That doesn't sound too country to me. It just sounds like normal pop, maybe some country influence, but that doesn't sound like
country scene out of Canada. Raised in Timmins, Ontario, in a poor household with a difficult family environment, Twain
Oh my.
started singing in bars and pubs to help raise additional income.
And look at her now.
It wasn't long before her powerful voice and range was noticed, and her album Come On Over introduced her on an international scale.
This is so catchy.
Today, she is called the Queen of Country Pop and is one of the best-selling artists of all time.
Country pop.
Number 6, Joni Mitchell.
This is incredible.
Last night I couldn't sleep.
With poetic lyrics and a musical style that embraces pop, jazz, rock,
And an incredibly like distinct and incredible voice as well.
R&B, folk, and everything in between. Mitchell has
Yes.
been called the most important female artist and one of the greatest songwriters of the 20th century.
He cooked good omelets and stews, and I might have stayed on with him there. But
Like, look at this, just great.
For you, California.
Getting her start in nightclubs
It's kind of crazy just to see her, like, just her live with just an instrument, like, I think, and still, like, commanding attention. You don't really need much, I think, like, when you have the talent and you really do have, like, a particular style, like, people are just going to, like, listening to you, and they're gonna listen to you, and they're gonna, like, show their love for you, and they're gonna be like, yeah, you're great. Like, you don't, sometimes, like, you don't need all the, like, the bells and whistles, and this shows, like, yeah, sometimes, like, talent, and sometimes acoustic, it's kind of like enough and probably better than other occasions.
and on the streets from Western Canada to Toronto, she began to tour in 1965 and her popularity snowballed.
That's such a long time ago. I love it, but I just want to point out the microphone is sort of like this, that tape, like what is that? That seems like very amateur hour, and it's crazy that this was like a huge festival or something, I can only presume. So it's like, what were they doing back in those days?
Paradise, put up a parking lot.
Although highly critical
Oh my
of the
god,
music
surprised that no one's like singing. Everyone's like very chill, very like solemnly watching her, which good, but I think like I'd imagine like concerts usually are a little bit more lively.
industry, she has influenced and inspired countless musicians, and her 1971 album Blue has been called the 30th greatest album of all time by Rolling Stone.
Songs are like tattoos, you know I've been to see before.
It's true. That's why like
Number 5.
poetry.
Bryan Adams. Adams.
I got my first real six string.
Oh, yeah, like his voice is also like very like you listen to one of these songs and you're like, oh, of course it's him. Like it's just like it couldn't be anywhere. It couldn't be like no one else. It's very, very clearly him.
The five and dime.
It's
Born in
raspy,
Kingston, Ontario,
weird.
the boy who worked as a dishwasher to save money for a guitar rose to international
Oh.
stardom with his 1984 album Reckless, and
Okay, that's adorable. Like you just like saved money for a guitar, working as a dishwasher. Oh my god, those are like success stories. It's like, well, he doesn't need to wash any dishes anymore.
only a few years later released one of the all-time best-selling singles, Everything I Do, I
A few
Do It
years
For You.
later, okay, but it was like uphill success. Oh my, what a weird video. What's
Also a
happening?
social
What?
activist and a photographer, this multi-talented singer with the instantly recognizable husky voice has been nominated
Yes.
for 56 Juno Awards and has won dozens of others.
Oh my god, okay.
Including Oscars, Grammys, and many more.
So he's again massive and very successful, not just like commercially, but also critically.
Number 4, Leonard Cohen.
Dance me to your beauty.
I don't know. I thought he was I don't know. I
Born
guess
in
it was American.
1934 and active in around 6 decades to date, this accomplished writer, musician,
To have like a career spanning 6 decades, like that's I think few people can say this. That's crazy.
and singer from Montreal, Quebec, has collaborated with countless well-known musical artists and has been called one of the most fascinating and enigmatic singer-songwriters from the 1960s.
I'd say please.
Again, an insane voice. Like you just listen to it and you know, oh yeah, you're sure that's like Leonard Cohen. Like the voice is very like crazy. And crazy, I think, like, again, sometimes like, you just need to have like a very distinct voice. I wouldn't call his voice like, oh, it's beautiful. I wouldn't call it beautiful. I would just call it like, it goes well with the type of like songs that he's like singing. It doesn't sound bad, but it's not something that I would say, oh, how like harmonic and how beautiful. It just like, it goes well with the music that he's like making and playing. But it's kind of like, again, you have like a very distinct voice, and I think that's like the best thing to happen to you as an artist is to have a voice that people like, whenever they listen to what one of your songs, they're gonna be like, yeah, that's him for sure.
I'm your man.
Experimenting
Look at that.
with different sounds and themes throughout his long career, his most notable and popular effort was in his 1998 album, I'm Your Man. Although, one of his most well-known songs is the often covered Hallelujah from 1984.
She broke your throne and she cut your
This seems like an older song for some reason.
lips. She drew the hallelujah.
Unbelievably, his critically acclaimed 13th album was released in 2014 after his 80th birthday.
Oh my. 80, he's 80 and still singing. Okay. Oh my god, what's happening?
Number 3, Celine Dion.
Oh my god, that was so dramatic.
Originating from Charlemagne, Quebec, the supreme
Like she, on the other hand, like she has a voice that I would consider, wow, how beautiful. Like she has a very powerful, very beautiful voice. Like it sounds very nice to the ear.
extremely talented Dion first came to fame in the 1980s after claiming victory in Yamaha and Eurovision Song Contests. And it was her 1990s
Isn't Eurovision something European? Like it says it in the name, right? Eurovision. Why was Canada over there? Or is she she's Canadian? So what was happening there? Oh, maybe she's French. Maybe like she's French Canadian.
English-speaking album Unison that brought her to North America's attention.
How old was she? Like the voice is very powerful, but I would imagine she wasn't that old. She seems very young, but the voice is crazy.
But why stop there? One of the world's best-selling musicians, she has also been known to sing in everything from German to Latin to Mandarin Chinese.
Oh,
And her
my
vocals
God, that's
have graced
crazy.
big-budget films like her smash single My Heart Will Go On, which appeared in 1997's Titanic.
all of it is are like so dramatic. I love it. It's like with the wind, just like in the sky.
Number
Ooh,
2,
I like this.
Rush.
Oh.
Monday warrior, mean, mean strike. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean, mean pride.
Another, is he and also a drummer that also sings? What's up with
It
that?
started in August of
Oh no.
1968
Okay, no. The drummer was another guy. Do they just play, everyone plays different
in
instruments?
Toronto, Ontario.
I don't know what was happening there. It was like, this
It
is
was
crazy.
then that Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and John Rutsey, later replaced by Neil Peart, formed the rock band that has become the recipient of numerous awards and has been inducted into both the Canadian Music and Rock and Roll Halls of Fame.
I can see why, actually. Yes.
Change my life again.
Presented with 24 gold,
The drumming is crazy. The guitar is crazy. Everything's insane. The voice is crazy. Oh my god.
14 platinum, and 3 multi-platinum albums, Rush has experimented with numerous multiple styles, including reggae, hard rock,
Oh.
and new wave.
Okay. This sounds like
Despite being
mildly
only a
psychedelic.
trio, these Canadian rockers have an explosive sound that has remained relevant for over 4 decades and have become a symbol of Canadian culture.
That's nice. Very talented. Ooh, look at that. I love the drum
Before
fills.
we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Oh my god, okay. Number 1. Okay, this is an honorable mention.
Like that. Tuck my napkin in my shirt cause I'm just mobbing like that.
Oh, like jazz? I like this. Very nice. So catchy. I think I've heard this before.
If I could read your mind,
A lot of folk singers in Canada, apparently.
your thoughts could tell.
And a lot of rockers.
Number 1, Neil Young.
Oh, okay.
And look at my
Again, folk.
I'm a lot like you were.
The uncompromisingly eclectic and experimental Young, born in Toronto, first gained recognition as a member of the band Buffalo Springfield.
Okay. Is that him? Why is he dressed like,
After a
he's
few
dressed very
years,
weird.
He decided to embark on a solo career, releasing his first album in 1968, which proved to be the first of 35 studio albums.
35?
Rock and roll's greatest songwriters and performers, he has done everything from acoustic to electric, grunge to swing, and his intimate lyrics and unique voice captured several generations.
Okay, like I don't know what was happening, but okay, yeah, it's interesting. Like he started as a folk singer, but then he explored everything in between. Like this is very raw compared to like what it was presented to us, like in the earlier clip of him just like him with a guitar.
His timeless lyrics and folk rock sound are as closely associated with Canadian culture as any
Oh.
other artist, earning him the top spot on our list.
Makes sense actually. How old was he? This looks like very emo, like very teenage emo, but I know this is from like the 60s or 70s.
Can you hear me now?
Oh my god, is that like what is that? Is that a like, tape recorder
Do you
or
agree with that
cassette?
list? Which Canadian musical artist do you think should have made it? For more entertaining top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
I love how they just joined together, like later on. Okay, this is I think an incredible list. I like it went way so fast. I was like, whoa, we're what the number 1? Okay, I feel like it's still kind of crazy to me. Like I don't know, like Neil Young, right? So I think he's probably like he's an old timey singer. That's how I kind of know him from. I don't think, yeah, I think probably like I could recognize, again, he has like a very, like a voice that I would think, oh, that's Neil Young, right? Or he sounds similar to him. But I think like the songs, like, I don't know what song would I say, like, oh, I think I've heard this before. because I think like the clips that they showed us apparently are probably like his most famous songs. I have to admit, I do not like, doesn't ring a bell. Like I think I've heard some stuff from him, but I do not think I am that familiar with them. But I was struck by how like distinct like everything was from, like the songs were not that similar to another. And I get like one was probably like when he was probably a little bit younger. And obviously, and he's a singer-songwriter, so he was where he like wrote those songs, and obviously, like he wrote it at one point in his life, and then obviously, like I don't know, 30 years later, 40 years later, like his perspective on music life, etc., his personality, like stuff is gonna change. So it makes sense that I think, like again, because it's a little strange for me to be like, well, you're like you they have like so many genres, and it's good that you've explored a lot of them, but it doesn't make it like less. Sort of like it's also varied, which is on one hand good because again you probably appeal to more people as well, because it's like, well, if you prefer like the folky acoustic kind of situation, like you have those records. But if you are more into like the harder type of rock or more like, you know, livelier type of music, like you have all those other albums. And it's on one hand, again, it's good because you don't necessarily have to be like, oh, I love every single thing about this artist. And again, that speaks for like a lot of art, not just Neil Young, actually. I think that there was some of them, apparently Rush as well, that I also like, there was like probably like the clips, like it wasn't that varied, but it's like they told like the video was like, no, they also experimented with like reggae. There was also like some psychedelic rock, some like classic rock. Like there was like an array of different things. Even I think it like, yeah, Joni Mitchell as well. There's like some of them that are, again, like you don't really stick to the same kind of thing. And again, on one hand, great, good. You're gonna probably get more fans that way because you're a fan of like that particular era or that particular type of music, maybe this artist. I'm not like a huge fan of every single thing. And again, it's kind of hard. Sometimes, obviously, they exist, but I think it's a little hard once you get to, because it's easy to be a fan of like an artist that has, I don't know, like 2 albums or 3 albums. But once when it comes to like, again, there was like 30 albums. The other was like making music up until his 80s. Like they have like, I don't know how many albums, like more than 30, like more than 25. It's hard to find like, oh yeah, I am a fan of like every single of those like 25, 37 albums. Like it's gonna be like, I think you're lying a little bit. I think you can appreciate like certain songs, then you can appreciate like the craftsmanship that went into like this particular type of songs. But I think if you be like, I don't know, I think it's hard to find like, oh yeah, but I'm a fan of like every single thing that you've ever done. I think I would be a little bit less like, I don't think you're being that honest. And even if I were the artist, I would be like, I think you're probably lying a little bit, because again, I'm trying to appeal to like a great number of people. So on one hand, like I think that's good, but on the other, I'm wondering if it's not like, does it make it a little bit less, I think, like again, distinct, because you don't have like a one particular type of like song, music, or just style that people can relate to you, like they listen to this particular type of music and they automatically think of you. Or again with the songs, like, oh, every time I listen to this song, I'm gonna know like, oh, it's from this guy, because everything is so like varied that you're like, oh, really, is that him? And also I think, maybe this is like getting a little bit like, I don't know, do people accuse them of being like sellouts as well? Because if you're changing that much, it's like, I think I'd be worried about this as an artist. I'd be like, oh, people probably are going to be thinking like, oh, you sold out, like you're a sellout because you started again. Especially, I think that's really a thing when people start being like with the acoustic thing, maybe something more intimate, like, because even like this guy started with like in this band that was like a little bit more, not specifically like acoustic, but more, you know, more chill, just like a couple of guys. And I think that tends to happen is that, again, you're starting a more intimate setting, and as the bigger you kind of get, I think obviously you want success because that's your career, and you want to maybe appeal to more people, or just again, or maybe your own personal taste just like changed, and you know they changed, and I am less into like the whole intimate setting folky thing, and I want to go bigger. I want to play in stadiums. I want to do something like very rock oriented or very like a little bit bigger. So I'm wondering if like people are gonna start calling you a sellout, and they're gonna be like, oh no, we like the older you, like the one that was just him or you, because I think it happens to women as well. Just like you and your guitar, and that's it. It's like, okay, I'm wondering if that's a concern, or if that happened, or the fans of those artists were thinking about this. Probably not the majority. Obviously, that's why they're like renowned and Canadians like love them. But I'm wondering if there was like a section of people that were like, we don't really like this. And because again, it's like it feels a little bit dishonest, I think. Like people tend to feel like that way. Again, specifically, I think it happens more when people start, again, with like the guitar, just a singer-songwriter thing of just doing your guitar, and then as you move on to bigger things, like people are gonna be like, oh, well, you want pop. It's like, yeah, well, I think it's kind of silly as well, because I think everyone wants success. Like, that's why you're an artist, and I think that doesn't mean that you have to compromise like your own artistry or something, but I think like, or your morals or something, but I think it really does. Like people tend to think like that, but it's like, okay, come on, like let's think about this logically. People like they are artists because obviously they're incredible, like they have incredible talent, and they have like again either incredible voices or just like they make great music, and that's a big part of it. But I think obviously you need to have some sort of drive and ambition, and it's not you can't fault them for that, because again it's like, oh no, but you were fine as the way you are, just like playing at like smaller venues or just like being more intimate. It's like, yeah, but let's face it, like everyone wants success, because otherwise they wouldn't be in this profession. Like they wouldn't want to be like bigger like rock stars, and I'm talking rock stars as in like the bigger, like it encompasses like a pop star, a rock star, whatever. You just want to be famous, and not just famous for the sake of being famous. You just want people to like know your songs, and you want people to know you, and it's fine and it's good. And it's like, yeah, I don't think that we should blame people for it, because it's not only natural. Of course they want this. It's like, if they wouldn't want this, and if they were like, oh no, I just like listen, I write my own songs, or I just like play my music and I really like it, and if you weren't like, oh, I'm not really interested in like the showmanship part of this, then why are you even doing this? Because if you were the type of just like, oh no, I like wrote this song and I'm playing and I have like a beautiful voice, but I don't really care about like external validation, I don't care about being famous, then you wouldn't like seek out a contract with like a label, or you wouldn't actually like pursue this line of work. You would be like, well, yeah, I just like wrote this beautiful song, I'll play it for like a couple of people or for myself, and then I'm gonna like put it in a drawer and that's it. It's like, no, nobody does that. So I really do think like some people can get a little bit like, oh my god, like they can, like you went mainstream, and it's like, yeah, of course everyone wants to go mainstream, everyone wants success, everyone wants to be recognized. And I think there's like a certain level also, like it doesn't matter like how humble you are about this. Like all those incredible artists, like this 10 incredible like bands and artists, of course I want to be recognized. It's like, yes, I am aware that I am a talented person, and I am talented, and again I have like either a beautiful voice that I think deserves to be heard, or I can write like this incredible songs or this incredible music that I think deserves to be like heard by the people, and I think it can maybe change the people's lives, or maybe that's a little bit presumptuous, but maybe like I think people are going to enjoy this music. So it's like, yeah, of course I want to be popular, I want people to actually like listen to me. So I really do think like I'm wondering if like that was the case for a lot of these artists, again, because I think it's really like intriguing to me that a lot of them started as sort of like the folky kind of like singer types, and they just like went massive. So it is, and again, apparently that's very popular in Canada, the whole like folky music scene. I think maybe, I don't know if probably in this day and age, I think folk music is just like less popular in general, but there was a time that this was like insanely popular. Maybe it still is, and maybe I'm just completely unaware, because like the Canadian musicians that started that way are probably going to be heard of in like 30 years. So it's like, no, this is as similar to like the ones that we're listening and seeing in this clip started even in the 80s, the 60s, the 70s. So it's like, you give it some time, and I'm just like unaware of them. But I really do think like it's great. And again, it's like, it's really like weird, like so many folk singers that also like a lot of rockers, which I don't really know if this is the case because again of like the time period, or still like the rock scene in Canada is apparently like very good, because I think again maybe not, because I thought we saw Drake on one of the honorable mentions. He's a rapper, right? I think hip hop, R&B, and rap. I think that's probably the genre that's probably more famous at this particular moment in time. And he got an honorable mention. But I do not know if like, are there any like rocker types and rock bands in Canada like present that people are still like really liking, because like the scene is great, and probably, you know, Canadians just really like this type of music. They really do enjoy their rock, because I think one of the interesting parts about this video as well is that I think it was Rush, for instance, like they were like, oh, it's a very like Canadian identity, like a lot of Canadians feel they identify with something like this. And it's quite like, oh, well, it's quite like, I wouldn't say hard rock, but it's just like, it's rock, which I think a lot of people these days, especially like younger people, I would assume they don't really like, oh, I don't really like it. Like I'll know probably, because again, Canadians probably are aware of this just by absorbing life. Is like, yes, I am aware of this type of music, but it's not something that I necessarily like I'm super proud of, or I relate to this, or again, it's part of like my Canadian identity. So it is kind of like, you know what, I think that's kind of like an interesting situation to maybe like check out, because it's like, I'm wondering how much of this is because of like, you know, the time periods that they were extremely famous, the 80s and 90s, and how does that compare to, again, more recent years. Maybe not just like in this, like in the past 10 years, but maybe like in the past, I don't know, even from the early 2000s. I think that would be like very, very interesting. But yeah, a thing like this was great, and now I think I wanna like look up a little bit more into like the Canadian like scene, just because again, it makes me curious what are Canadians like listening to. It makes me very curious just to see like if this is a representation. Again, how does the number, obviously they have their own charts, so it's like, what are people actually listening to? Because again, makes me massively curious. But that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.